All right, guys, so we are working on the first step of our line tubes optical illusion. So you need to have a blank piece of paper, not a lined piece of paper, not anything else, but a blank piece. It could just be computer paper is good, but it needs to be blank and then a pencil. And those are the only two things you're gonna need for today. So you have a choice to make to start this is whether you want yours to go horizontally or vertically. It works either way. It's purely just a choice you're going to make. If you do it horizontally, then your line tubes, which you'll see, are going to be a little wider and shorter. If you want it vertically, then your line tubes are going to be kind of like longer and skinnier. So I'm going to be doing mine vertically, but it really is up to you. It does not matter which way you do it. So our first step we are going to do is you're going to draw 4 wavy lines down the paper. You do not want to make them like super, super, super wavy, just some big curving waves. If you make them really, really super wavy, it is going to create a lot of work for you later on. So, and I'm trying not to make all my lines the same because I don't want them to follow and be parallel and go the exact same way each time. All right, so I have 4 wavy lines down my paper, and now across the middle of my paper, I am going to draw a curved line. So this one's just kind of an S curve. It goes up, and then it goes back down. Once I have this drawn, so I have my 4 wavy lines that go down my page, my 1 line that goes across my page, I'm going to start in the center column here. So you kind of have 5 columns. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one for me is a little half off the side. I'm going to start in the center column. And if it is on below this line, then I'm going to draw my curves like a U. So I'm going to draw them pointing down. So starting right here, I'm going to go from point right here to this point right here. So I never extend the line I'm drawing past my column. And I'm going to draw a curve that goes from there to there, kind of from one side to the other side. And then it curves down towards the bottom of the paper because I'm on the bottom half of my paper. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of start back at those same points. And I'm going to draw another curve up and around. And I'm going to keep repeating that, going from side to side here. And you may run out of room, and that's okay if you need to start a slightly different space. But I'm going side to side, kind of making these curves and these arches. And I'm bringing them kind of back closer together so they get further apart here and then go closer together. But that doesn't have to be the same on everyone. Some might be a little more even, some might not. When I get to the bottom of my paper, I'm just kind of going off there. And I'm going to do that same thing across this next column here. So I'm going to start over on this one. I'm going to go point to point. Then I'm going to come back, bring it in, and I'm just going to keep creating these kind of U-shaped curves down each one of my columns. And it's okay, the lines can touch and come back together. They can just hit the side of the column. And then when you get to the bottom, you're just kind of dividing it out, so lining it out there. So your goal for today is to get all of the curves on the bottom half of your paper drawn. The top half we're going to leave just like this, but your goal for today is to hopefully get all of these curves done. If you don't quite get them done, that's all right. We can work a little bit more on them next week, but next week we are going to be adding in a new step, so you want to make sure that you've got at least a good bit of it done before leaving it for the next week, because otherwise you'll just keep falling behind. Do make sure the lines touch all the way. Like right there, I didn't continue it. I need to make it touch. There can't be any empty spaces or gaps. Like right there, I need to kind of erase and connect those better. And I've got one more here, which is kind of a half curve, just like this side. So I'm starting at that point, but then it just kind of ends. And it's going off the side of my paper here because that doesn't have two full edges to it. It kind of goes off the edge of the paper there. So that's fine if on the two side columns, they kind of go off the edge, but make sure they go all the way to the edge. And that's where we're going to stop for today. So we hopefully have all of our curves done on this bottom half. Save this paper. Don't let it get lost somewhere because I would hate for you to have to start over when we come back to add on our next step for next week.